do this.
Aha.
We're recording for Zoom, through Zoom for our podcast. I mean,
I'm Quent.
I'm Aron, and over there is Rob. We're completely prepared for this recording.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be like 3 videos not going according to plan.
Oh, that never happens.
Never, ever happens.
We're usually a finely oiled machine.
Yes. We have bullet points, an outline.
Oh, my God. Notes, graphs, pie charts. Certainly not people walking in and out. Definitely not my husband over there doing a dance. Okay, love you, strange man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And this, my friends, is why I'm getting a subterranean lair.
Yes. Yes. Can you see
Quinn's
my
done
screen?
something fancy here with some screen sharing thing. I've got a cappuccino that, thank you very much. I didn't go to some store and have somebody Uber it to me. I made it myself. Although I really would have preferred to have someone bring it for me. And I have a Danish, which
Yes,
I'm going to eat while we record because, you know, manners of a swine, whatever.
Okay, can you actually see my screen?
I can, but it's really small.
Well, that's because I don't have it blown up.
How many tabs
also-
do you have open?
Oh, that's just one window.
How do you live like that? You are
I
obsessive compulsive sometimes. How do you live like that? No,
I
you need
have
to magnify
5.
that more because I'm blind. Also a little deaf, so make sure you speak into the microphone. You're giving away plot points. Fun fact, if you've tuned in, you've got some plot points. Do you like how I totally blamed you too?
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty good. Instantly.
Okay, so I think this ties in the fact that you were talking about we need to deal with Dex and Wolf talking, but I was also thinking that I don't know that it really works to have the Burke killing Sirocco.
Well, we have to have Burke kill Sirocco.
Well,
Kind of a
yeah,
big deal.
but at some point in the book, yes. I don't know if it really works for that to happen when we have it slotted.
We wanted everyone to break at the same point.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's not breaking. That's a huge plot point.
No, it's breaking for him. That's breaking that covenant and that bond of friendship that they have.
Yeah, I don't
We've
know.
pretty much got several scenes that set that up.
We do. I just don't know that it really works at that spot. So I'm not opposed to keeping it, but I think it warrants some discussion on what else we have to fit in there. Because we have to fit in the Wolf and Dex. We need to mess with Dex's dad.
No, why can't we make that all one scene? Like, do we have to actually see Wolf or Dex's dad get messed with?
Well, I mean, we set
it
it
up.
up.
Have to know what happened.
Set it up. I think we kind of. I think we kind of do. Like, we set it up.
Yeah, but we set it up. But do we need to see it, or could we have like the Wolf and Dex talking scene end with, you know, Cruiser or someone reporting back that Dex's dad has been arrested by Mason?
It depends on where we have Cruiser, because we have.
He can't call. He never calls. He never writes. Who's going to come get Cruiser? Oh, you know what? We do have to have that there because Sirocco has to be killed like now.
Either that or we start moving things out.
No, because in chapter 11, that first scene there.
Oh, that's the other thing. We also have to have Cruiser and Burke kind of making alliances.
Yeah, but we have to have Burke there first, and that cannot be done before Burke kills Sirocco.
Why not?
Which I'm saying, I think it's in the wrong order. I think we need to have. We could have.
Do I need to zoom in more?
I'm blind. Don't mock me. Go ahead and mock me. I actually think probably at the beginning of 11, we need Burke to be kill Sirocco.
Okay, but then it doesn't line up with everybody else breaking, which is what you wanted.
It would if we just bump this down. Like, we don't necessarily have to see how they get Fletcher set in a new VA, or we can bump those out one, but we can't have any of this until Sirocco's dead. Because Emery can't be back for Cruiser to see until Sirocco's dead.
Well, originally we had, it doesn't matter what we originally had.
Oh. Somewhere between, at Sirocco's urging, Mason fucking with Dex's dad, and the start of chapter 11, Emery, everything that goes down has to go down. She got to ship back stateside and have enough time to recover to attempt to contact the team. And in order for that to happen, Burke has to kill Sirocco. So the start of chapter 11 should be Burke killing Sirocco. Then we can, I would do Burke kills Sirocco. Or kill Sirocco. I think we might be able to combine we've got to get Cruiser. We've got to get Fletcher near the team. We've already set that in motion with the scene that we just did. So how much of that plan do we need to really set up?
Which plan?
Getting Fletcher to Miami. I don't think we need to make it as convoluted as before.
No, well, so
how about we just have Dex hack in and move them?
So initially we moved him out of the VA to another VA just under a different name so that they lost their tail, which didn't work anyway. Mason figured it out. So I don't necessarily think that we have to move him right away. I actually think it works better.
No, I'm saying, go ahead.
I think it works better if by the end we have them, like Fletcher finally figured out like where he is, and Emery, the whole team together.
Emery won't be there for the. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know, because I'm just saying we could, instead of having a whole big scene with the setup of how we get Fletcher to the team, we can just have Dex hack a computer and put in transfer paperwork for Fletcher to be transferred to Florida.
Yes.
I mean, they don't really have.
That's not going to lose. I guess it depends on if we are trying to do the name switch.
We don't have to.
So no.
No, I mean, their IDs they are using, they're pretty much not compromised. So, and no matter where they are, they're always going to be looking for them to be near Fletcher. That's always going to be a stick point.
Well, so in the last scene here, yeah, this one, Cruiser mentions like we need to find a place that specializes in mental health rehab and physical rehab. So that can take a while. And we can have things slowing it down so that really we can push getting Fletcher back into like wherever they are, out to wherever we need it.
We just have to have the team see him.
We do need to have the team see him.
Which I say, let's put him in Texas, because boy, would he hate that.
Well, that's okay. Remember we talked about that the other day?
Yeah, well, we were looking at a different setup then. I mean, we could just as easily say he's been there long enough, he's stabilized, that they would send him to his state of residence, which would still have been officially Texas, not like he bothered to change it.
So do we want to, okay. Do we want him transferred from Walter Reed to Texas? Or just start out in Texas?
Doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter if he starts out in Walter Reed or Texas, because where Cruiser visits him has no bearing on where he ends up and where they have to see him.
Well, it does timeline wise, because that's a much further distance to travel.
From Miami?
We had...
You're missing what I'm saying.
You're missing what I'm saying.
We can leave him. We can leave him at Walter Reed. He can be transferred after that.
Yes.
Where Cruiser sees him has nothing to play on where the team has to see him. We have enough room and enough reason to have him transferred from Walter Reed to Texas. I'll just turn my phone off there. So, you know, that we don't have to make that a problem. It's one line, and we can add it in the scene we just did. Yeah, he's in Walter Reed right now, but they're going to transfer him to Texas. This is where he's going. Or, you know, when Cruiser saw him, he could have been getting him ready for that transfer. You know, I saw him at Walter Reed, but they transferred him to Texas. So that's trouble we don't have to borrow. The team can then go see him in Texas. They can all have their, okay. And the scene we just did with Wolf and Cruiser getting into it, he can end up mentioning he got transferred to Texas. Dex and Wolf can have their talk, and it can be interrupted by a phone call from Dex's dad to a burner phone they have, leaving a message that he's in jail.
Are we putting him in jail?
Sure, why not? Chapter 11?
Because we had alluded at the idea of killing him.
Mason's not going to kill him.
Mason's not.
But we have Mason visiting Dex's dad or mom.
Yes, but we set it in motion for Burke to deal with something with his dad. Sirocco was very adamant about do what you have to get the team to come out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure since it's Burke putting that plan in motion, it would be to arrest him and not kill him.
I mean,
it's Burke.
I know it's.
Why would Burke kill an old guy?
I know Burke
More
doesn't
importantly,
want to.
Why would Burke give up something that he can use to manipulate the team into doing what he wants, which is his ultimate goal?
I'm just saying we have to make good on that whole plot line.
But I think it does make good on it. I think that Burke freaking arrest him and old guy can have a heart attack, which, by the way, that guy would totally be faking. Because his stepdad is an ex-cop. He knows all the game to run. Oh, I'm having chest pain. Better take me to the nice, cushy hospital. Yeah, I know what Sirocco was thinking, but Burke in that scene was thinking, applying pressure by keeping him somewhere, put the cheese in the trap. He's not interested in the cheese. He's just interested in using the cheese to get what he wants.
Well, no, I get that. But why would his dad call their phone that can be traced?
Because it would be a burner phone that can't be traced. They have to have some way set up, just like they had with Katie, for her to call in an emergency.
Right. But that's like a revolving phone.
Being arrested would be one of those. So I'm sure there's a burner phone somewhere that they have someplace. As soon as they get back to the US, they have to have points of contact that we've already talked about that they use. Oh, be that email accounts, be that burner phones, be that, Facebook messages. There's a way that they communicate. And honestly, I don't know if it would be Dex's dad, but Dex's community that would say something, because we do have that as a very tight town where no one will sell him down the river. But I would think, just like with Katie, they have to have a way to get some sort of message through. And we can come up with whatever that way is. The only problem is, they haven't been able to access them for 5.5 months while they've been on the run.
Yeah.
So we can have.
Well, okay. We were going to have. Hold on. Never mind. I didn't have it written down. I think we were planning on having Mason visiting Wolf's mom. And then.
No, I think we decided Dex's dad.
Well, it was either or. And then last time we were talking about anything, we were talking about having Mason visit Wolf's mom, because we haven't seen Mason in a while, because Burke was going to wind up visiting or dealing with Dex's dad.
I definitely have a real problem with not addressing the Dex issue that we set up. I say if we can't address it, we should take it out.
Well, I don't think we can take it out.
I think we can.
Well,
I think that's setting up breadcrumbs and then, not getting any sort of payoff on it.
Well, no, I completely agree. I'm saying we need to address it.
We absolutely need to see Burke kill Sirocco, because that is literally the villain of the piece.
Which, do we kill him at the end versus the middle or the end of Act 2?
No, we need to. Because if we kill him at the end, we can't have Emery released until he's dead. That's the hinge point there. That is when the tide turns.
I forgot about
the whole
Emery.
book is when Burke kills Sirocco. That is when everything changes.
There are
Up
too many
until
moving
that point,
parts.
the big climax for everything is building towards everybody falling apart and having to do terrible things. And at their lowest point, including Burke. And then we can't change anything till Sirocco's dead. We would have to redo the pacing for the entire book. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that the only reason that the team's able to find Emery is because of Burke.
The only reason Emery gets out of where she is because of Burke.
I mean, those go hand in hand.
Sirocco kept her alive because there was more he wanted to know, but he had plenty of people need to get a hold of her. He'd have sold her to the Russians in a heartbeat.
Well, that's a hot topic now.
Different Russians. They're make-believe ones.
They're the fictitious Russians.
They're not real. It's okay.
Okay. What do we need to have happen before Bert kills Sirocco?
Let's see. In the Wolf Cruiser scene, we need to mention that Fletcher is moved to Texas. Let's make the next scene. Let's have Mason visit Dex's dad and set that up. The next chapter we could have
Did I lose an icon?
the next chapter we should have Wolf talking to Dex about everything that happened. And we can end that one with the report that his dad was arrested and transported to the hospital. Then
hold on. I think this winds up going back here.
because we actually need to have a break, I think. We need to have at least 2 weeks, maybe a little more before Burke actually finds Emery when she pops up in that hospital. She would need a bare minimum of like a month to be running another con, but let's think about this. There. Start at chapter 11. We have Dex and Wolf talking, and with news that Dex's dad has been arrested and had a heart attack. Or maybe that's what spurs this whole conversation to start with. But in chapter 11, start of it, Dex, Wolf, Dex's dad arrested, hospital.
That's
actually, let's.
And that's
yeah, because that would happen before Bert kills. What's that?
That's Wolf and Dex. That's Wolf, and that's because your speakers blow. That's Wolf and Dex talking.
Wolf, Dex talking, and then we'll have dad arrested, hospital.
That's all one scene though.
Yep.
Okay, so that needs to be black. And now I get to struggle with the size thing because I'm an idiot. If anybody's actually watching this and they decide to do this program, Just leave them as big sticky notes. You can zoom in and zoom out instead of fighting with trying to get them all the same size.
I can't hear you.
That's not me. Okay.
Huh? What? The next scene should be Burke killing Sirocco. Burke will have found Emery popped up in that hospital. He knows he's got to make his plan.
I don't know why I have an arrow linked.
He would get her shipped stateside ASAP. Get her hidden away and under a little bit of protection, whether she knew it or not. So give him a week to do that. Sirocco is going to find out that Emery is now MIA from him. He's going to lose his shit, and that's going to lead to a confrontation between Burke and Sirocco. And with Sirocco being dead. Then we can set up then we can have the team go see Fletcher.
There can't be too much time in between chapter 10 and 12, though. Or no, chapter 9 and 12.
There has to be.
There can't be, because otherwise, like, Cruiser's going to get his ass kicked. I mean, he doesn't generally wait too long to have that happen. And he sees Fletcher and deals with that whole emotional upheaval in chapter 9.
We're going to bump that to when he sees Fletcher and the team and everyone fall apart there.
What?
He's seen Fletcher. He's doing that thing. The team could say, you know, they need him to help them get to Texas to see Fletcher. Not going to buy us another week or two, which puts us at 3 weeks out for Emery, which is getting close to where we need. Then actually getting the team to Texas, finding out that, you know, dealing with Texas shit, teams in Texas, they each get to have their breakdown. At some point, he may notice that he hasn't got called in by Sirocco for a couple weeks now, which is odd. After seeing, you know, Wolf having to deal with Chance and Dex dealing with his own shit, then Cruiser can go off and get into his fight.
Yeah, but there's not going to be 2 weeks between Cruiser seeing Fletcher and him getting into a fight.
Well, he can have a baby fight before that. But I'm sure he'd have another fight when he sees, you know, has to deal with Chance breaking down. And Wolf having to deal with that. And Dex having his own little breakdown.
We don't even have Cruiser in that scene.
But why? But we can now. He wouldn't go with them to the VA, but he could be back there at their little hidey hole.
Yeah, but they don't have their breakdowns at their hidey hole.
Does that matter?
Well,
I mean, at some point, Wolf is going to be bringing what's left of Cruiser or Chance back to that hidey hole. I can't just leave him drunk on a rooftop. we have to put realistically, we need at least 4 weeks for Emery to be spotted. Well, hang on, let me think. Can maybe do 2.5 at the most, because she could be spotted before she's actually made her move on her con, which is how we had it. So we need about 2.5 weeks between.
Well, so I mean, here's part of the problem is if we have them going from Miami to Texas, it's like a 2-day trip one way.
Depends upon where we put them in Texas.
Huh?
Depends upon where we put them in Texas.
Okay. But like,
why can't they fly?
Well, Cruiser can't.
Why can't the team fly?
Okay, the team can, but Cruiser really can't because he's got to stay off Sirocco's radar.
Private charter.
They don't have any money.
Chance, you're up to it. They would just need a real pilot. But even if it does take them 2 days.
Well, it means it also takes Cruiser 2 days to make the, well, no, that's later. Brainstorming's fun.
I mean, we've got the order right. We've got Burke killing Sirocco. We've got Cruiser, Wolf, Dex going to see Fletcher. Cruiser can get in a bar fight. We can have him go back to Katie's. He can have when Cruiser get in a bar fight, chance break. We need a third rock bottom there.
What if that's where Dex finds out that his dad's been arrested or had a heart attack?
Yeah, and he can't go to him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw that there. We still have the spot for Dex and Wolf to have a talk.
You want to leave that alone? Or move it?
We're going to leave that one right there, and we're going to take out the part where it says his dad's in the hospital. That's just going to be Wolf talking about how Dex is doing and everything that went on with him. Or maybe Dex sparks that conversation. I don't know. I think open the chapter with chance breaking. Or Cruiser in the bar fight. Let's do Cruiser in the bar fight. Chance breaking. Dex's dad in the hospital. Now, there's nothing that says that they don't get to have a little bit of time off after this break.
Well, Cruiser
can
winds
give
up
himself
on,
like 5. What?
Cruiser winds up on Katie's couch, and then Mason gets a
Yes.
hold of him.
Yeah, well, Mason can wait a day or two. Mason's over there fucking with he's fucking with Cruiser's, with Dex's dad. And then he can be doing whatever, but he doesn't have to arrest him the next day.
No, I didn't.
Besides, Cruiser's got to get back there. Somehow he's got to make it to Katie's couch. So, you took Dex's dad in the hospital away.
Shh, I'm not good at this.
So there's nothing to say that we can't give him 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So we start with Dex about 5 days later, or Cruiser about 5 days later. Still sore as fuck because he takes a whooping. Let's say, anywhere between 3 to 5. Because Emery does not have to be in fighting shape at this point. She just has to have the wherewithal to be spotted. And Mason is good. He could find her. Oh, Burke is going to be so unhappy about this. So,
well, we originally have Mason finding her. That's how, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like 2.5 to 3 weeks later that he found her. She had already been back, healed up enough, and was investigating a con.
Yeah.
So this gives her, you can have her like probably 2-3 days in the hospital till Burke finds her. He gets her shipped overseas, gives her another couple days in the hospital. And about a week where she's reestablishing herself enough to try to contact the team. So that gives us the 2 week, and this plays into it. So somewhere around day 3, Cruiser gets arrested from Katie's. What did Cruiser do with the phone after Dex called, or Wolf called? Didn't he hide it up in the ceiling?
At one point we did have that, because I think, yeah.
I think that worked. Yeah, I think he hid it up in the ceiling tile, which will work out well as to why he never got, if Emery tries to text him in that period, he never would have gotten it. Because he hid the phone and then had team drama and then had a head injury. And did not have time to get the phone out of there. I kind of like that. It shows that they're all suffering.
Okay, what now?
Actually, before that one, the start of chapter 13, is going to be Mason seeing Emery. I like at the start of a chapter bringing Emery back in. And that is Mason's point of view, so you don't really get any insight onto where she's been necessarily. We will have to replay that scene a little bit, but
yeah.
Because Mason does actually know her.
Yeah.
And he knows more about where she's been. He may actually only have very limited information on that. Most of that information will only show up after Burke takes over, so it makes sense. Then we see Cruiser get arrested.
Which works because we had her in jail before him anyway.
Exactly. Now the only question is, do we want something with the rest of the team here? Or do we want to continue with the three of them in jail? Actually, let's put a scene. We have a scene with Chance visiting Fletcher, right?
Which scene?
One where it's just Chance visiting Fletcher and he's handling it like a big boy.
And Mason shows up and chases him, and then
we
not
can't
that
have
one.
Mason show up because Mason's in another state dealing with these two.
Then it's not the scene I'm thinking about. You know what scene I'm thinking about, right?
Yes, that can come later. We just need a scene here that's team. You know, update on Dex's dad, update on how Chance is handling things with Fletcher, what they're doing to try to find Emery. You know, at this point, if Dex looks hard enough, there might be a little flag that she's kind of pops back into the system as, you know.
So,
but I just don't want to have, you know, Mason arresting Cruiser, or Mason arresting Emery, then Cruiser, and then the two of them meeting, and then it seems like that's a little heavy right there.
yeah, well, I think Dex needs to go see his dad.
I don't know how we're going to get Dex to see his dad.
Yeah, well, I know, but I mean, but he's going to want to.
He's going to want to, and they can have a long talk about that. But I think it'll be a nice point too to see that Dex has a lot of support from his community. And he's going to have to rely heavily on that. And we can kind of show, we want to give the idea that like Dex is getting support from the community. Dex is giving support to Wolf by, you know, looking for Emery and working on getting Fletcher a new name and a new place to be and checking out facilities. And Cruiser is also involved with that. And this is much more of a, we've seen them all hit the bottom. Now this is how they kind of pick up the pieces sort of thing. How deeply they rely on each other. I would think that last scene would be like Wolf, Cruiser, or Wolf, Chance, and Dex. And the support they're getting and giving to get through the shit time. And ironically, probably the one under the most stress right now would be Wolf. Because every piece has fallen back into place except Emery.
Well, it's falling back into place, but now he wouldn't have heard from Cruiser.
I can't hear you.
I don't understand why. My microphone's literally by my mouth.
I don't know, because your volume is suddenly a lot lower.
It shouldn't be. Did you shift your pillows?
Nope. I don't touch them once they're stacked up.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Wolf nobody would have heard from Cruiser since he wound up in the hospital.
Would they even know he's in the hospital?
Not until Katie gets a phone call, and then if she has the chance. Well, she doesn't have their phone number, so no.
Yeah, so they won't even know he's in the hospital. They know he's heading back to Katie. They will probably have like a Facebook check or something. And we have him there for 3 days. I'm sure he checks in at some point, like, got a concussion, I'm okay. So it's not like they're going to be worried that he's dead.
He'll have Katie do that because he's seeing double.
So we don't have to worry about them freaking out about where he is. I mean, they can even mention in passing that Cruiser got into another bar fight. That's all part of that scene that'll hopefully work itself out when we get there.
Well, and we also wanted to do...
So then the next scene would be... No, we have a problem here.
We have many.
No. This is going to be different. We have to put a different scene at the chapter for Cruiser getting arrested from Katie's, because this needs to be the point where he goes to see Katie and she's not there.
Okay. Are we still doing that?
We need to do that. Because when Cruiser sees Emery in the lockup is when he's like, get a hold of Wolf. I can't find my sister. And legitimately, it's one of the first things Burke would do would be to get her out of there.
Right.
He doesn't know who's still loyal to Sirocco.
That's the thing is, well, he already killed Sirocco.
Yes, but just because you killed Sirocco doesn't mean you killed every member loyal to him. That's the whole point.
No,
and we know they don't, because throughout the rest of the series, there are people still loyal to Sirocco who fuck with them. I mean, you don't just do the shit he's done with just one crazy guy. He's got a whole network and organization, and as much as Burke has tried, he does not know how deep it goes. So the first thing he would do is get everyone to safety, which should be a big clue because he doesn't move in on Wolf's mom.
It is a big clue. It's one of those little red herrings way down the road.
It's not a red herring. That's a definite breadcrumb. It's not a false clue. So instead of having the scene where he wakes up and he's all groggy at Katie's, we could have him in the hospital for 2-3 days. And then he goes to see Katie and he's hurt and he needs his family. And motherfucker, they're not there. And before he even gets done clearing the house, fucking Mason shows up to arrest him. He's going to get into a fight. He's going to get another concussion.
He's good at that.
Yeah, 2 concussions that close together is so bad. And that would put him...
It's a good thing he still doesn't like wearing a helmet on his bike at this point.
That would put him in jail, frantic, out of it.
Oh,
yeah, let's have him arrested at that point.
Arrested from Katie.
Gets arrested from Katie's. Katie and Juliet are not there, cruiser freaks. Mason's going to have a really bad time with these guys.
I'm really sad because we lose the whole unicorn thing.
We can put it in another one. I mean, it's pretty much his MO, get beat up, go to Katie's. But yeah, I just can't see how else we wrap it up in the right amount of time.
Which means he's not checking in with Wolf.
Which means he would have had a check-in from the hospital. I mean, he's there because he got beat up. He can still flip open his phone or use a hospital computer to log on to Facebook or however they're doing messages. Unless he wants the team to show up, and then he cannot do it.
No, because there's always too much of a risk of Sirocco finding him.
So I think he'd find a way to check in. The only other thing we could possibly do would be, well, we left it the original way. It would be, chapter 13 would be team meeting, Chance, Dex. No, would still need to start with Mason and Emery. Team meeting with Chance and Dex. I mean, the other thing would be start with Cruiser getting arrested by Mason. Have the team scene. End the chapter with Emery getting arrested. Hold on, that's my work phone. Can you pause it?
If I can figure out how.
Hey, Barnabas Hospice, this is Nora. Hey, how you doing?
I can always just edit things out. Pause recording.
Where it is.
Okay, we could leave the cruiser scene.
We could leave the cruiser scene where he wakes up on the couch, unicorn all confused. He gets arrested and taken in. We could make that the first scene. Then we could have the team doing their talk. Then we could have Mason arrest Emery. And then the start of chapter 14 could be Cruiser finding out that Katie and Juliet are gone, losing his mind, getting arrested by Mason again.
Why is he getting arrested by Mason again?
Because if Mason shows up there, and Mason's whole thing is to arrest him as much as possible, to harass him.
No, I know that, but he just let him go.
He didn't let him go. He got sprung. Or because Burke could have sprung him.
I was going to say Burke's the one that's going to spring him.
But I don't think Burke would want to.
No, he's a captive audience, and Burke knows enough about Cruiser to know that. What were you shaking your head?
Then we could have him seeing Emery, but then he would have no idea that Katie and Juliet are gone until after he runs into Emery.
Yeah, I think it probably works better to lose the unicorn scene and have him like we've got it set currently. I think that probably works better.
Except that's not going to work because he still doesn't know that. Well, the problem is he still doesn't know that Juliet and Katie are gone.
Yeah, he does. The way we have it set, he goes from the hospital to Katie's house that is empty.
And it's okay.
And it's like cleared out empty. And then Mason is there before he can do anything.
Okay. All right, let's leave it like that. So at that point, it should play into what we kind of have, which is at that point, Burke would get him out of jail. That would be a very different scene than what we have. At that point, I think he would be sprung from jail.
Well,
by Burke.
First, I guess it depends on how we need to pace things out, because we have the scene where Cruiser's getting interrogated by Mason when he's clearly concussed, which we wanted.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. That one should still be there.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing of Mason kind of, he's going to figure out a way to get, like, he's going to capitalize on his moments. And then we also have the scene where Cruiser sees Emery, and I can't remember if that's the same scene. It might be.
It's the same scene.
Is it?
Yeah. They're taking him back to his cell when he sees her in a holding cell.
Well, yeah, but I think we had two different scenes. There was one with the original interrogation, and then there was another one where Mason...
We can make it the same scene if it is.
I don't think we need to extend it out into multiple.
Yeah, that can be one scene. The only question is, where do we want Mason interrogating Emery? And do we want that here? Like, how much of that do we actually want to show?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Is this a trick question?
Well, that goes somewhere. Mason arrested her.
We already have that.
We also have it so that Cruiser sees her, so they're clearly in the same location.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with how much we see of Mason interrogating Emery?
I can't remember that scene well enough to know if we really need to see. Well,
or do we want to save that? Because originally we had that not being divulged until Wolf finds out. Do we want to keep that level of attention, or do we want to spill the beans?
I don't know. Because it does show him being incredibly manipulative.
Yeah, but we'll see that with what he does to Wolf too. And we've shown him being incredibly manipulative quite a bit here, I think. I think every
Mason?
time we write a scene with him, he becomes more manipulative and good at what he does.
Yeah.
There's a lot more respect here than, we originally had. And it's not that he doesn't do it. He still does. We can even have Cruiser notice that, she may be there in tears for all we have to put in there. I just
don't know how broken it will look if we have her get arrested and then we don't see any
considering we
payoff
haven't
from that.
seen her at all since the prologue, I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, all we know is that she's back. And there is one line from that interrogation that I'd like to keep, but we can keep that when Chance is reading the notes of it.
What's the line?
He's the best lover I've ever had, and his dick is massive. What else? His penis is massive. What else would you like to know about him? So I think the next scene would be Chance almost getting caught by Mason.
At Fletcher?
Yeah, Chance almost getting caught by Mason. Yeah. Which this is all going to help if we keep them in Texas, because then we can move them back to Miami. And then we can end that with Cruiser getting sprung by Burke in that scene. Did I lose you?
No, I'm just thinking if that's a lot of Cruiser going on. But we're converging character, so there's
I'm really not worried about that at this moment. We can let's get an idea of the scenes we have to see, and then we can kind of squiggle them around if we have to. But right now we have to see it because he's the one he has to get out, because he's got a critical piece of information he's got to get to the team. How many chapters do we want this book to be?
I don't think we ever planned that.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How many chapters do we want this book to be?
It needs to end around 90,000 words.
How many chapters do we need this book to be?
Well, hold on. We can figure this out. It's going to take a second, though. So, shit. This is requiring a calculator. Tools. Okay, so we're at 59,000 right now.
So 60,000.
Hold on. 59,000, but that's $59,000 minus 45. Okay, we're really sitting more at 54,000 because we have a couple 54,000, and then I would say on average our scenes are about 1,500.
4,500 words per chapter. Because I'm thinking now this final act is all resolution, and we're not going to reunite them with Emery at this point. We're just going to set up for the next book.
I think we kind of have to get Emery back.
There is no chance we can get Emery back in 40,000 words. I think we can pace this out and do the next couple of chapters, kind of
divided by 3.
Getting Fletcher back somewhere.
Theoretically, we have about 8 chapters that we can do past where we've already got.
Yeah, we can make that sort of the reestablishment, because, we've had the major climax where they all break. Now we can reestablish them back up, and we can end it with the lead on Emery. 2, 3, 4. Or end it with them saying, go get the girl. We got the men, let's get the girl. So which means, we could have that scene of we already saw. We could have a scene with Chance going to see Niece. We could have the scene where we get the team to get Fletcher to Miami. We could have Chance contacting people in Miami. We could have, or actually, I don't think Niece is in Miami, but he is in Florida.
Okay, so 6 chapters. Okay, so I think after chapter 12, so for Act 3, we have about 6 chapters to play with.
Yeah. 2 of them are already almost filled up.
Okay, let's. It's not what I want. Not what I want.
I would do the end of 14 with Cruiser having his chat with Burke.
I think I started to do that and then I got distracted with math.
I think that was the start of chapter 14.
Maybe.
But we could do it at the start or the end, doesn't matter. All right, I gotta do some stuff. It's gonna take me about 10 minutes. You'll have to edit this part.
I think we should just stop this part.
Yeah,
We'll call
this
this
is actually just brainstorming.
Which is fun.
Which I prefer to do by video, so I'd leave the Zoom up.
Yeah. No, I'm going